So you want to know how best to lay out your audience signal for your Performance Max campaign. Now, Performance Max campaigns are quite new and there's not a huge amount of information out there. So this is from my previous experience working with this client to generate them consistently around a 10 ROAS for the duration we're with them as a client. So this is what I've come to the conclusion is a great layout to start with for your Performance Max audience signal. Now, this is just a demo account. This isn't the account I'm working on. This is just representing and demonstrating what I'd done with the client. So just for some context, this is the product we're going to use. So I talked about in my previous video how best to lay out a Performance Max campaign for your accounts. So the best way I have it is having two campaigns. So you have one which is a higher ROAS campaign and one which is a lower ROAS campaign. On the higher ROAS campaign, you use the 20% of your products that generate 80% of your revenue. These are your top performing products. This one was a very good performing product for the clients. So this is definitely within that higher ROAS campaign. And to summarize the lower ROAS campaign, that's where we put the rest of the 80% of our products that only generates 20% of our revenue. Okay, and with that, the difference being with the higher ROAS campaign, we segment each asset group to specific products, whereas with the lower ROAS campaign, we segment the asset groups to product groups. Okay, so one focuses on specific products and the other focuses on specific product groups. So we can be a lot more granular with the higher ROAS campaign and a lot more granular and specific with the ad copy we use. And we also take this into consideration with our audience signal, with the sort of data and the keywords that we want to utilize in this. Okay, so let's just run over this. So this is the audience, the asset group I've created, and this is the audience signal. So the audience signal is broken down into a few different stages that are very important. So the first one we have is our custom segments here. This is how people have interacted with your product, what they search for online, the competitor websites that may be available, And then we have the next section, which is extremely important, which is your data. This is the number one most important thing you can have with your audience signal. And if this is empty, you really need to fill this up. This is the most important bit. Google uses your previous data, your previous purchasers and your previous website visitors to better target to find people who are very, very similar to that. Similar to how Facebook ads use lookalike audiences. This is the most important bit. And the final bit is interest targeting and detailed demographic. So let's just go down to how I segment each section. So the first section we talk about custom segments, and this is mainly where I put keywords, but I also put competitor websites in there as well. So I like to be very granular, so I even segment these out into specific keyword groups. So from the keyword research we did for this product, we found out these are the sort of groups you have. So the main group being sauna suits for men, the second one being sweatsuits, which is a completely different terminology than sauna suits that we use, and that's what you find from doing your keyword research. The other one is just the main basic one, which is sauna suits, and then the other one is sauna suit for weight loss is a very good group. And finally, the one I put in here is boxing apparel websites. So these are competitor websites, okay, and it sort of looks like this. There's not a huge amount in there, and this is what it will look like for this. See, we've only got a few keywords in there, so you can have the chance. You can either pile as many keywords into one as possible. But just from my style of running Google Ads, I like to be a bit more granular, and I like to think, okay, maybe I'll take out just this section for further progressing this campaign. I don't think that particular group isn't going to be very effective. I have the chance to just add or take off very, very easily, just like this. So I can just go back and add it back in. Whereas if you had all your keywords in one group, I have to go into here and then take a few of these off. I just personally think it's a bit more tidy to do it that way, but it's completely up to you. As I say, Google Ads is all about style. So the next section, which is the most important bit, is your data. This is the most important section you can do. Okay, so in this isn't correct. This is the website visitors. I've created this just for this demonstration, but ideally you want to be pulling live data from your website, and the best way to do that, which I have found, is to use Klaviyo audiences. So if you use Klaviyo email marketing for your clients, or maybe MailChimp, you have the ability to have an integration to Google Ads, so you can pull in live audiences from Klaviyo. So Klaviyo works pretty much exactly the same how Google Ads does, but you can use the audiences you've created from that to pull it straight into Google Ads. So when someone purchases a sauna suit from when I've created this audience and from to now, those people are going to be automatically populated into this audience. So I don't have to go through and push in a new CSV file like you previously had to do with Google or Facebook ads, for example. So I love using the integrations. I think they work for HubSpot, for Salesforce, whichever one you use. Shopify might do one, I'm not totally sure, but I like to use Klaviyo. It's just what I've used, but there's many other options to use. So for this example, what I would do is use the previous purchases of the sauna suit for the past 90 days. I like to keep my data very rich, so very, very fresh and rich. So I choose to do like 90 days as an average. You can choose to do whatever you want. I think there's a maximum days you can do, maybe 180. I can't quite recall off the top of my head, but I just stick around 90. But this is a chance for you to maybe make a new asset group and test out 180 days compared to 90 days and do an A/B test, see which performs better. The second one I use is just website visitors for that specific page. And so those are the main two data sources I would use. If I was using this for a product group, I'd probably do the top 20% of purchases for the website. So those are good ones to use, or purchases of that specific product group. But it's whatever you think is most relevant to that asset group you've done. But this is what I do for a specific product. And then finally, going into interest and detailed demographics, you pretty much just type in your main keywords for it, which this is a client who sells boxing apparel. So literally all I would do is type in boxing and go through and add in just a few more that probably be relevant or might be relevant to it, because you use this as a starting block. And then as you get in your data, you can go through to your insights and you can see the detailed demographics that have been working well and have a high index. From that, you can maybe think, okay, I'm going to take off a few of these because they're not performing so well. So you start this off as a basis, and then you go through and you fine tune and you refine what your options are. So overall, that's what I do. With the demographic, I keep it just open completely. This, again, you can tailor it down a bit more. But to start with, I keep it as open if it's relevant to you. Okay, if it's not relevant to you, this is a product for only males, then just tick that. Or if it's a product for only females, then just untick that. Okay, that's overall the layout I use for my audience signals. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's very, very simple. But just to reinforce this section is the most important. So take this seriously. And if you don't have that, if that's empty in your case, then you really need to fill it up. Okay, overall that's it. This is what it's going to look like. And you got to make sure that you have 2 out of 2 best practices for sales. Okay, and that's all you want to do. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, actually, while we're here, if you guys want to connect with me on LinkedIn, please feel free to reach out to me, ask me any questions related to Google Ads, Facebook ads, or anything marketing related. I want to grow my following, and I will. If you send me a message, I will reply. Okay, thank you guys. See you in the next.